Share the screen. Desktop 2, here, share. Okay, good. 49 students, not bad, that's good. So far, okay. Okay, so yeah, if you can see the screen, okay, so maybe you can see the motivation too. Traditional approach to motivation. Can you see this? Okay, good. So yeah, yesterday we started with behavior. Okay, we started with the behavior. And how we can make a behavior, that is the question, that is the main inquiry of the organizational behavior, okay? And the human behavior, including that the organizational behavior, individual behavior, group behavior, or the organizational behavior, or social behavior, can be explained by two very important things. Human behavior can be explained, and that is a function of the environment and human personal factor. Okay, behavior is a function of the EMP, and then environmental factor can be explained by the phenomenon of extrinsic motivation factors. On the other hand, there must be the personal differences, and this kind of the internal the personal factor can be explained by the extrinsic motivation. Okay, and we are now heading to this conceptual model of the human employee behavior. Okay, and this is composed with the external factor, extrinsic factor, and the external environment. Okay, external environment, economic conditions, social changes, technology changes, and the labor market, and the law and the regulation, labor union, and the globalization, and many kinds of the external environment to make an influence on the human behavior. On the other hand, within the organization, okay, within the organization, there is an external influence within the organization. We call that is a supervisor. That kinds of the influence come from the supervisor, organization, and the co-workers. Okay, these are the extrinsic motivator factors and the environmental factors. Okay, we can think about it. And however, within the same environment, okay, if a few number of the several employees has the same manager, every individual must have a different reactions, the different behaviors, because everybody has a differences. Okay. Okay. So we must consider about it the personal factor. Person factor, okay? And then person factor, maybe we can understand more of the person factor, intrinsic motivation. The motivation can be different. And there must be the attitude differences, okay? Attitude can be understood as a certain patternized reaction to a certain stimulus environment. So motivation can be differentiated by the individuals, and the attitude can be differentiated by the individuals. Knowledge, skills, and ability, KSAOs, and that is conceptualized as the competencies. Everybody has a different capabilities. Everybody has a different competencies. Those kind of things can be differentiated by the individuals. So that we must have a good understanding about it, the individual differences. Okay. And we will talk about it, the motivation first, however, we are heading to that kinds of the individual differences as well. So this kind of the combination of the environmental factor and the intrinsic factor and the internal factor, personal differences, formulate the individual, group, or the team, or the organization, or the social behavior. Okay, behavior. Based on that kinds of the behavior, we can draw the outcomes, personal outcomes, organizational outcomes, job performance, and task performance, and many different kind of the desirable outcomes can be drawn. Okay, So this is a conceptual model from the Werner and the Siemens employee behavior. So maybe we can more going into detail about it, this kind of the conceptual model, how we can manage the human behavior. Okay, so out of many, so we focus on the motivation first. Motivation. Okay, we will go there. So we talk a lot, we talk about it, the environmental factor, and then we talk a little about it, the raccoon story. Raccoon. Okay. What is the truth for the raccoon? A sip of milk. Okay. While the young monk always looking for and ask for the, yeah, what is the truth? Something. Okay. And then, however, everybody may have a different need. For the young monk, maybe the most important need was a truth something. Conceptual truth or chanting. However, the baby raccoon need a sip of milk to survive. That's a need. Okay, so this shows that the example of the we may manage and help people to be happy and follow me according to their reaction to my supply to their need. Okay, absolutely. So that give us a story, that give us a basic understanding about it. What is the motivation? Motivation. We are mainly talking about it. Okay. So before going to there, we started with the definition of the work motivation. Okay, there are many different kind of the definitions of the motivation. But however, in here we are talking about it, the work motivation. Work, okay, because we are business. Work motivation. Okay, so work motivation is defined by Mitchell, 1984. Work motivation is the psychological process that is not a one-shot intervention. Process, input, output, process, going again, do it again, iterative and repetitive. Okay, that's a process, psychological process that causes the arousal, direction, and the persistence of the voluntary action. Okay, feeling is one thing, but action is more related with behavior. Okay, behavior, thinking, feeling is one thing. Thinking or feeling, psychological something is one thing, but however, we are much more interested in the behavior, action, execution, doing something. Okay, or even though you are totally motivated, you are totally feel good, and you are totally happy, but however, if you do not work, what is the meaning for work? Okay, so we want to define work motivation is a psychological process that causes arousal or emotional arousal, psychological feeling. Okay, so brain thinking, arousal, direction, and the persistence, sustaining of the voluntary action, continual voluntary action that are goal-directed, no goals, no orientation, and no goals, no organization, no mission, no vision, no value, no strategy objective, no goals, nothing. Okay, if there is no goal, that's just a happening. That's not a business something. So our work motivation is psychological processes that cause the arousal, direction, and the persistence of the voluntary action, behavior, doing, execution that are goal-directed, mission-oriented. Okay, that is a definition of the work motivation. So we want to motivate people to work in order to get things done effectively and efficiently for me. Okay, that is the definition of the work motivation. Good. Then, in order to motivate people, what should we do? That is the question. Okay, so then Yeah, we talk about at the raccoon. Raccoon need what? Milk. So then that traditional and the first modernized motivation theory was started based on the need. Okay, need. And the need-based approach was the father of the motivation theory. Okay, so motivation theory is started with a need-based approach. And we will tap the need-based approach, cognitive-based approach, and a non-cognitive-based approach. These three are the basic approaches of the traditional motivation theories. Okay, traditional. Okay. There are three approaches to the conventional traditional motivation theories and the practices. That motivation theory was started based on the need, human need. And the need-based approach mainly represented by three theories. Maslow's hierarchy of need is the father and the start of the modern motivation theory. Hierarchy of need, Maslow, Abraham Maslow. And ERG theory is extending the hierarchy of need, and the two-factor theory, Hertzberg's two-factor theory, make it more simplified for the traditional need-based approach, and they give us a more simple understanding, but however, the more effective. Okay, so then these are the need-based approach. But however, the need-based approach, good. But unfortunately, need-based approach has a limitation. That is, need-based approach is easy to understand. Okay, that's quite intuitive. That's easy to understand. That makes sense. But that is not supported by science. There is no evidence. There is no scientific evidence. Not easy. Absolutely, those kind of a need-based approach is intuitively understandable and easy to understand. That sounds great. That sounds very reasonable. That makes sense, but however, no evidence. Not easy. So a few number of the scientists, social scientists, psychological scientists, and the business scientists, okay, we wanted to have a more rigorous data-driven, database, and evidence-based approaches. So we applied cognitive-based approach, brain. Cognitive-based approach, brain. Okay. So a few number of the scholars proposed that the expectancy theory, goal setting theory, and Albert Bandura, he proposed that the social learning theory or the social cognitive theory, and mechanically or mechanistically, okay, so a few number of the psychological scientists, brain scientists, they proposed that the equity theory. Okay, so simply need-based is feeling something. Okay, but however, that is just a very synthesized feeling. But however, that is not backed up by the data. And that is the reason a few number of the scholars, we love data. We want to do something in a more scientific way, so that we address that the human brain functions because we think we feel, because we think we can calculate, because we think we can do something. And fortunately, this cognitive-based approach is fully supported by science. Okay, so absolutely, we can believe in these scientific findings. So that's a cognitive-based approach, and recently, that many kinds of the modern and many kinds of the recent motivation theory is also derived from this kind of cognitive-based approach. However, still, in business world, we use a lot of the need-based approach as well, because that's quite appealing, that's quite persuasive. So we use both. Okay? And recently, we will talk more about it, what is the more recent motivation theory, and we use a lot of more scientific data processing techniques or the fMRI, more scientific psychological approaches, something. But however, that are those kind of the recent motivation theories all stems from the need-based approach, cognitive-based approach, and one more, machine. Okay, mechanistic approach. Okay, and that is very similar to the behavioral science. Okay, we call that is a non-cognitive based approach. Non-cognitive based approach is actually this is not very popular. This is not popular, but however, this is most popular in practice. Non-cognitive based approach is not very welcomed by the scientists or the many of the advocate of the OB or the many of the practitioners and the researchers. But in practice, managers, many, and majority of the managers, they use this non-cognitive based approach. What is the non-cognitive based approach? It's simple. Tit for tat. There is no thinking. If you work hard, I will give money. If you do not work hard, I will fire you. Is there any thinking? Is there any motivation? Is there any need? Unfortunately, no. Tit for tat. If you work, I will pay. If you do not work, I fire you. But however, this is one of the most popular and the dominant paradigm of the motivation something. But unfortunately, this is control, not the management, I think. Okay. Non-cognitive based approach is not just simply a motivation something. This is just a tit for tat. This is control. But this is most popular. Oh, absolutely. If you work hard, I'll give money. If you do not work, I fire. If you do not work, I will kill you. Torture. We call that is a non-cognitive based approach. Okay, we will tap this kind of a traditional, conventional motivation theories and the practices one by one. Okay, good. Then we will go one by one. We start with the origin of the motivation theory. Traditional approaches. First, the first motivation theory comes from the Abraham Maslow in 1943. Well, probably I mentioned about it. What is the source of the motivation theory or something? And the Abraham Maslow and Kurt Lewin and those two guys and the psychologists, and they are the veterans, World War I, World War II, and they observed what happened in the war. So in the war, what happened? Everybody killed each other. Why they kill each other? Because everybody hates each other. Then they were curious, Kurt Lewin and Maslow and many of the psychologists, many of the people, scholars at that time, they were simply curious of why people hate each other, and then moreover, why people behave like that. Why people do like that? Why people hate each other? Why people kill each other? Can we explain that? Why people kill each other at the war? Why we make a war? Why we kill each other? Why we shoot each other? Why we want to use that nuclear weapons, or the shooting M60 or the Kalashnikov, or why we love to kill each other? What do you think? Why people behave like that? So that is a fundamental question. That was the fundamental question of the study of the human motivation. Why people do like that? Okay. So Kurt Lewin, social psychologist, and Abraham Maslow, they try to understand. They try to understand what is the motivator or what is the cause, what is the factor that create and formulate and manage or control human behavior in a more psychological way. And the Russian scientists and the social biologists, and there is a biological approaches why people behave like that. And there is a paradigm of the behavioralism. So there is what is that? Pavlov. There is a Russian scientist Pavlov, and he experimented of the dog. And whenever he feed a dog and he ring the bell, ding, 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 and then he feed the dog. And however, when he do not feed the dog, when he did not supply the dog, whenever he hit the bell, ding, 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 and the dogs salivate, and the dogs are coming to him to take some food. And that's a mechanistic, like a robot. Okay, there's an action reaction. We call that is a behavioral approach that comes from the biology, something. But however, the human is different. Oh, absolutely, human is an animal. But however, we wanted to believe that, okay, so human can think, the human can feel, and the human has a different reactions to a certain stimulus. So then, Abraham Maslow, Kurt Lewin, and the more humanistic psychologists and the humanistic researchers and the scientists, they wanted to explore the more understanding about the human behavior in a more higher form of the understandings. So Abraham Maslow, he proposed this simple hierarchy of need. And he identified that need can change the human behavior. Need, okay, like a raccoon case. Okay, raccoon, if he was in the good condition, he do not take any kinds of the help, or what, he don't need any kinds of things, and he do not take any kinds of the milk. But however, he at that time, at that situation, the baby raccoon need a sip of milk. That can explain the desire or action. Okay, so Abraham Maslow, he proposed this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hierarchies of the human need. Okay, so then maybe we can see the explanation of the Maslow's hierarchy of need. And this is one of the most popular, and this is one of the most well-known understandings about the human behavior that come from the human different motivation that is underpins need. Okay. So, can you see this?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory in psychology. It argues that there are 5 stages of human needs that motivate our behavior. Abraham Maslow proposed his theory in 1943 after studying what he called exemplary people, such as Albert Einstein or Eleanor Roosevelt. First, there are physiological needs, such as the need to breathe, eat, drink, or sleep. The moment we get enough of that and we feel awake and our bellies are full, we get motivated by the next thing. Now we want safety. We try to earn money, build up resources, and look for shelter that protects us against dangers. Once we are satisfied and feel safe, we have time to think about what we want next. At stage 3, we seek love and belonging. We desire to be close to family and friends, belong to a society, or join a gang. But the moment we feel completely part of a group, we already wish to be a little different than the rest. At stage 4, we look for esteem, self-confidence, and respect from our peers. We want to be someone. If we have money, we buy a fancy watch. If we have a brain, we write or think or work a lot. Motivation to perform and compete is now at its highest. Students, sportsmen, and inventors excel. Neil Armstrong even flew to the moon. Only if we breathe and drink and eat and sleep enough, and we feel safe and part of a group and still special, only then can we reach level 5, self-actualization. Now we can relax, be creative, accept facts for what they are, give back or do whatever we want. No more pressure, unless of course there is trouble below. If you are a leader and believe in the theory, use it. First, make sure everyone has eaten well. Then make them feel safe and help them belong to a group. Once they feel they belong, they are ready to stand out and excel. Thanks for watching. Even if we try to keep it short, each video is quite some work. First, we research and write a script. Then we brainstorm ideas.
Stop. Okay. Sure. Okay. So this is a short introduction of the Maslow's hierarchy of need. Yep. Work. No. Yeah. Work. No. Work. No. And then, what are you doing? Yeah. Okay. So this is a Maslow's hierarchy of need, and according to Maslow, he just identified that there must be the hierarchies of the human need. At the first stage, definitely we always looking for the food, water, warmth, rest, breathe, oxygen. Okay, so to survive. Okay, so what is the driver of the this level of the something physiological need? Survival. Okay, survival is a matter. And when we have enough food, water, warmth, and the rest, and the basic need are met, okay, so we look for another, the higher level of the need, safety, security. Oh, I want to survive. Safety, security, and the protections from the dangers from the animal, dangers of something, okay, criminal, okay. So that's a basic need. That's a basic need for survival. Okay, at the war, always we are looking for this basic need. So that's the reason. If we have a war, everybody can looking for the higher form of the something. Okay, make sense? Absolutely, they make sense. It makes sense. Okay, good. So then when we fulfill the basic need, then we are looking for the higher form of the psychological need. And then when we feel safe, okay, when we have a security, when we feel safe, when we feel okay, and then we are looking for our partner. We are looking for our parents. We are looking for our friends. We are looking for our intimate relationship. Okay, because we are social creature. If you are totally isolated, at the small island, and do you feel happy? Do you feel happy? No, because we need a intimidate relationships and the social interactions, because that is we need. We call that as a belongings as a social creature. Oh, fortunately, we are the social creature. Okay, we are not tiger. We are not a lonely wolf. Okay, so we are looking for those social relations. We need belongings. We need a part of something, and we feel we need love. Okay, love is a part of the belongings. Love is a part of the belongings. Somebody don't need the love. I don't think so. You definitely need love. Okay, because that's necessary. Okay, because we are social creature. We are not a tiger. We are not a cat. Okay, so absolutely, as a social creature, that's our nature. So absolutely, we need belongings. We need love. So that is the reason. Okay. urgent situation. Okay, during the class, you can use the mobile phone or anything. You can do whatever you can do. Okay, so when you got a call from your father, when you got a call from the mother, when you got a message from your boyfriend or girlfriend, necessary. Got it? Okay. I totally respect your need of the belongings, your need of the need. Okay, that's necessary. I think so. And Maslow told us, and I totally agree with that. Human need belongings and love. That's important. Okay? Don't underestimate that the human nature. Okay? We need that. Okay? And when we have those kind of the basic belongings, basic love, and when we feel safe, and when we feel loved, and when we feel okay, and then we are looking for the higher form of the something. We look for respect, esteem, and that we want to have a dignity. We want to have our self-interest, self-esteem, and the self-accomplishment. I want to prove myself I am good. I am capable. Why you work hard? Why you study or work hard? Why do you need A plus and A? And why you want to always looking for the higher GPA? Why want you go to the best of the best graduate school? Or why do you want to get a good job? Because you want to proud of yourself. And you want make your parents and your acquaintance and your father, mother, and your grandfather, your grandmother, make them proud of yourself. Because we need that. We call that is of self-esteem, esteem need. I want to feel the prestige something. I want to feel of the accomplishment. I want to make a success. Do you love winning or do you love failing? Do you love success? Do you love losing? Absolutely. We love success. We love winning. Why? Because we need that. We want to prove ourselves we are capable, we are utilizable, and we are good at, and we call that is esteem. I want to prove myself. Hey, father, hey, mother, I got a 3.9 GPA. And oh, hey, mom, okay, I got good score. And hey, father, oh, I got admission from the good schools. Yay! Psychological need. Okay, sure. Don't you think so? I think so. We need that. We always looking for that. That's the reason why we work. That's fine. Okay, it is understandable. Good. This is bad. No, it's okay if we can manage. If we can manage it well, that's good. That's a very important motivation factor. We look for the esteem. We look for the achievement. We look for the success. We look for the winning. I want to prove myself I am good. It's okay. Okay, good. Then when we have that kinds of the level of the self-esteem, then we look for the higher form of the need. Okay, self-actualization. Self-actualization or the self-fulfillment need is achieving one's full potential while including the creative activities. And then absolutely, this is related with your self-interest. What are you interested in? Okay, probably somebody say, okay, I need a good car. Okay, that is the safety or the belonging something. Okay, and the esteem related something. Why people love to buy a lot of the luxury goods? Because they want to feel the esteem. Okay, good, nice. But however, when you have everything, when you have a good car, when you have a good something, when you have a good house, okay. So a long story short, what if you have $1 billion on your hand? What will you do? If you have tons of $1,000,000,000, what will you do? Oh, one condition, okay, so you must operate that whole capital. You cannot give away and you cannot donate. You cannot give or share that kinds of the money, okay? But however, you must operate your money by yourself, and you have $1 billion. $1 billion. Dude, what will you do? If you have enough money, what will you do? Oh, one thing is clear. If you have $1 billion, do you want to study? No. No. If you say, oh, I am professor, if I have $1 billion, I keep studying. No, don't say that. Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. No, that's not a human. That's not a human. No. Don't be a good boy. Don't be a good girl. No. Okay, be a human. Please be a human. Okay, don't. Why we should study if I have $1 billion? Okay, for example, what if you have $1 billion? Maybe you need a car, you need meet, you will meet the physiological need like a food, water, warmth, or something, and you simply buy a luxury house. Okay, somewhere in Shanghai, in Beijing, or in wherever you want. Okay, absolutely. And then you will buy a good house and you will have a good guard, a good security, something in here. So basic needs are totally okay. And then, however, you will need around at the $100 million. It's enough. Okay, and still you have $999 million something. Okay, and belongings and the love need. Okay, so you will treat your father, mother good, and your grandfather, grandmother. Okay, so that you will treat them and you will let them have a good something. Okay, so that's okay. And the $100 million. Okay, you have $998 million. And you will have a prestigious something, and you will buy a lot of luxury cars, luxury brand, luxury Louis Vuitton, Versace, or the Chanel, or the Porsche, Lamborghini, or whatever. Okay, and then, okay, good. And then, okay, so I want to see many of the very nice cities like London, Paris, New York City, and you can make a travel. Okay, so you meet the basic need, you meet the psychological need. Okay, on your hand, you have $999 million. Still, what will you do with $999 million? What will you do? Think of that. If you have enough money, if you have enough health, if you have a lot of things, if there is no limit of the resource, what you really want to do? That must not be a studying. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to study something. Okay, don't do that. Then people look for something higher form of the desire, something higher form of the need. We call that is a self-actualization. What is the purpose of your life? Self-actualization is exactly asking about what is your purpose of life? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to solve for? What kinds of legacy do you want to leave? What is the purpose of your living? People will think. Okay, that's the reason why a lot of the leeches, super leeches like Bill Gates, and Bill Gates is now engaging himself in a very meaningful work like developing a new vaccine and developing a new something and helping the African countries, underserved population to have a more hospital or the health accessibility something, and he is doing something. Then somebody invested in the education or something, or somebody doing the arts, something supporting, or somebody invest their money in the sports activities. Self-actualization is the higher form of the hierarchy of need. Okay, and however, in Abraham Maslow passed away around the 1964 something, and however, a few number of the researchers and we found out that okay, so Maslow proposed that the more higher form of the need, and that is a self transcendence. Okay, so self transcendence need. Okay? Self-transcendence need. So self-transcendence need is like awakening. Awakening something. Okay. Well, however, I don't know. What is that? I don't know. Probably there is a spiritual awakening or something. But however, that is beyond the general people's understanding something. But however, Maslow proposed that the highest form of the human need is self-transcendence. Okay, so as becoming a more higher form of the spiritual being. Whatever. Okay, so Abraham Maslow, the father of the motivation theory, he observed the people's behavior, and then he found out that people's behavior come from the certain need, okay? And he interpret those kind of the need by using the hierarchies. And then according to Maslow, and he proposed there is a hierarchies, and then if there is a basic need, then we look for the higher form of the need, and then when the foundational need is met and satisfied and fulfilled, we can go look for the higher form of the need, higher form of the need, higher form of the need. That is Maslow's hierarchy of need. Okay? So Maslow's need hierarchy lists the 5 levels of the need, and the first, the physical need, the physiological need, the safety, security, social need, love, esteem, and the belongings, and the egocentric something, self-esteem, and then the self-actualization. And however, maybe we can easily understand what we need, what the humans want. Humans want fulfill the need. Then if we supplied appropriate need, probably we can manage the human behavior. That's the idea of the Maslow's hierarchy of need. Okay, that's the start of the motivation theory. That's the start of the motivation theory. Okay, however, here's a problem. Okay, what will happen? Somebody needs something self-esteem rather than the safety. For example, somebody who are hero in the war. Why some people sacrifice their life? Can we explain that? Why people sacrifice in the wartime? Why people sacrifice their life in order to save others? Can we explain that kinds of things in this Maslow model? Probably no. Okay, so we need this is so a long story short, Maslow's hierarchy of need theory has a pitfall, the disadvantage. That is totally steady. There is no dynamics. There is no change. But however, our human life is quite dynamic, and our human life and our human situation is getting more changing. So according to different situations, human needs are changing. But however, the Maslow's hierarchy of need, that's totally steady, and then that does not explain the dynamics of the human need change. Okay, so then a few number of scholars, okay, they propose a advanced need-based theory. Okay, for example, next, Alderfer and his colleagues, Clayton Alderfer and his colleagues, they propose that the more dynamic need-based approach, need-based ERG theory. ERG theory is that is composed with existence need. I want to survive. Existency, okay? I want to survive. I must be exist, okay? I don't want to die. That's the existence need. And the next level is the relatedness need. Okay, I want to be loved. I want to be respected, and I want to have a belongings. I want to have my mom. I need my father. I need my friend. I need my love. I need my partner. That's a related need, okay? And another need is a growth need. Growth. I want to grow. I want to prove myself I'm a good something. No? I want to have more power. I want to serve for the people. That's a growth need. Okay, so existence need, go to the relatedness need, and the relatedness need, go to the growth need. Okay, if existence need is satisfied, and then they make a progress. It can go up. It can go up. It can move. It can go to the next level. It can go to the another level. However, when the situation is getting bad, when the situation is not satisfactory, and when you feel the frustration, when you feel something is bad, okay, according to the situation, according to your feelings, okay, that can be degraded, that can be regressed, that can be get down, that can be changed like this. So go up, go down. Go up, go down. It depends. It depends. According to different stages of the existence need, relatedness need, and growth need. According to your situation, according to your feeling, that is dynamically changing. Okay? So, ERG theory proposes that if a person becomes frustrated trying to satisfy that the current activation, okay, current activated need, and this frustration will cause previously satisfied need to be activated and drive behavior. Okay, so that is dynamic, that is changing, that is dynamic, that is changing. Okay, that is the ERG theory, Aldous ERG theory. Okay, good. And the need-based theory is going forward. But however, it's getting more complex. It's getting more complex. It's getting more diversified, and that is not easy to understand. So then, Hertzberg, make it more simple. Hertzberg make it more simple. And then 1955, he proposed, okay, the need, we have only two factors. We have only two factors in need. First factor is hygiene need, hygiene, and the physiological and the physical need. That's it, especially for the business. Hygiene factor, okay? And the hygiene factor is just simply the company policy, quality of the supervision, relatedness, okay, and the personal life, rate of the pay, and the job security, working condition. Okay, so basic, fundamental, okay, fundamental working conditions for people. That's a hygiene factor, security, okay, okay. However, there is another factor, the higher form of the factor. He defined that as, Hertzberg defined that as motivational factors. And that is more related with the internal and the intrinsic motivation, okay, motivational factor, field achievement, career advancement, personal growth, job interest, recognition, responsibility, respect, leadership, authority, happy. Okay, so Hertzberg just proposed that the two factors in order to understand that the human behavior, especially in the workplace, especially in the business workplace, okay? And Hertzberg claimed that the people have only two sets of the basic need, one focus on the survival and another focusing on the personal growth motivational factor, okay? So then when we fulfill the hygiene factors from the dissatisfaction of the motivation, we can motivate people. Okay, we can motivate people and we can give a basic fundamental things, and then people we can move up to the they are not happy, they are not they are not happy, they are not unhappy. Okay, they are okay. People just simply okay if they are okay for their working condition. Okay, but still they are not motivated. Motivation is not occurred yet. Okay, in order to make people motivate, we need to supply that motivational factor, more higher form of the growth. Motivational factor, intrinsic motivation, achievement, career development, personal growth, job interest, recognition, responsibility, leadership, authority, and the freedom, autonomy, motivational factors. Then people are positive, people are happy, people are motivated to accomplish extraordinary and excellent performance. Hertzberg proposed this. Okay, it's quite simple. We have only two factors. Basic hygiene factor, working condition, okay, basic, psychological, physiological something, and physiological and physical something. However, motivational factor is necessary to make people get motivated. Okay, so that's the Hertzberg two-factor theory. Two-factor theory. Oh, absolutely, that makes sense. That's easy to understand. That's easy to understand. Okay, so these are the three basic need-based approaches. Okay, need-based approaches, Maslow's and Maslow's hierarchy of need, 5 hierarchy of need, and then are the first ERG theory give us a more dynamics of the need-based approach, and the Hertzberg two-factor theory make it more simple about that give us a more easy and effective insight about what is the factors to motivate people. Okay, that's the need-based approach. Okay, got it? Okay, good. Any question? Any question? Okay. Any question about it, the need-based approach? Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Need-based approach? When we feed at the milk, okay, so the raccoon can help, raccoon can survive, and the raccoon will follow me. Need? Does it make sense? Are you here? Are you listening to me? That's the reason why I need. Okay, thank you. Okay, need-based approach is easy to understand. That makes sense. Okay, that's totally persuasive. Persuasive. Okay, thank you. Okay, however, okay. So during the 1980s, 70s, and the 80s and 90s, okay, many scientists and many psychologists and many business, and we wanted to have a more evidence data. We need a more scientific and a more repetitive and a more solid finding something. Unfortunately, this need-based approach does not prove well when we apply that the scientific approaches. Oh, hierarchy of need. Okay, so that makes sense. But how we can prove that? Why the people just feel the physiological need and they can happy? How we can measure the happy? And the safety need and the security, what kinds of safety they need, what kinds of the security they want, and the belongings, love, how we can measure the love, how we can transform those kind of things in the number. And prestigious something, okay, esteem, self-esteem, and how we can understand that the measure, how we can understand the esteem, how can we transform that kinds of things as a scientific measures? Not easy. And the self-actualization, how we can measure that? Existency, relatedness, growth. How we can measure, how we can understand the growth in a more scientific way? Not easy. And absolutely, the Hertzberg, okay, so motive. What if achievement is not a hygiene factor, and the personal life or the rate of the pay and the pay, if there is no satisfied payment and the people will not work? No, we have tons of thousand cases, even though that they do not have enough money, they do not get a recognition from something. Okay, they work. So definitely we need another approaches to understand that the human motivation. That's different from the need. Need is one thing, okay? But how about the need is just a simple psychological feeling, okay? Feeling, emotion, okay? That is the reason why that's not easy to measure. Feeling is not easy to measure. How we can measure love? I love 100%. How can I show that? How much do you give love to your parents? Mom, 100%, 99%, 5, 10. So feeling is one thing. But however, according to the neuroscientists, okay, feeling is a part of the cognition. Feeling, emotion is a part of the human function. Okay, cognition. So a few number of the cognitive scientists, okay, they tried to measure and then address that the human motivation based on the human thinking. Okay? Because we think, we feel. Okay? So because people can think, we calculate, and we do something. We change our behavior according to our calculation, according to our perception, according to our understanding. Brain. Okay, brain. That we call that is a cognition. Okay, brain. Cognition. So then we proposed, a few number of the scholars, they proposed that the cognitive based approaches in order to understand that the motivation. Okay, that kinds of things was coined by the Bloom. Okay, Bloom, not Bloom. Bloom, he was a Michigan State, Michigan, okay, whatever. Bloom, the Professor Bloom, he proposed expectancy theory. Okay. According to Bloom, people choose. Okay, what is that? Wow. People choose to put their effort to activities that they believe they can perform and that they will produce that the desired outcome. And three sets of the belief are expectancy, instrumentality, and balance. Okay, so according to your calculation, according to your thinking, okay, you want to achieve something, your personal goals. Okay, there is a goal. Okay, here you want to achieve this personal goal, and you are here. Then you will think. How I can get that goal. How can I get that goal? Okay, good. So then you start calculating. Okay? And in order to achieve your personal goal, what kinds of outcomes do you need? Okay? Do you expect? Okay? And then in order to calculate that, you need a certain, you need your personal feelings, the standard, the personal criteria. We call that as a balance. Okay. So you calculate, you think, you estimate your outcome. You expect some outcome. Okay. Then in order to achieve your outcome, you need to have a certain performance. Okay, so what kinds of things and how much you make effort. Okay, so that is doable, that is not doable, that is achievable, and in order to achieve that kind of stuff, what kinds of things do I need? Okay, so that's the instrumentality. Then, in order to achieve a certain performance, you need to calculate, you need to think about what kinds of effort do I need now? Okay, what kinds of effort do I need to expect? Okay, so for example, you want to get A. Okay, you want to get A. And then you must have at least 93 percentile. You must achieve at least 93 percentile of the outcome. Okay, so that absolutely you need to perform something and you need to study certain chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, and the problem bank, test bank, something. Okay, so you expect you do something. Then what should you do now? What do you expect from now? You must have 2 hours of the commitment to study of that course. So you make effort. Every day, I must study 2 hours in order to get A, because I need to have 93 percentile of the performance. And then in order to get that, I must complete the chapter 1 to 3 review and the test bank something. This is a calculation. This is all the human brain function. Okay, so Bloom proposed this very simple expectancy theory. In order to achieve your goal, you are expected to do something. Okay, so we call that is an expectancy theory. Oh, when you want to get a goal, okay, so I expect, okay, so I must do something this, or 2 hours is enough, or 3 hours, or I need 1 hour. Okay, and the Jerry Choi's, the OB course is totally piece of cake, so that I don't need to study and I just need only 2 days. Okay, so that's fine. That's the expectancy theory. Okay, like this. Cognitive-based approaches in the motivation theory, we mainly focus on thinking. Okay, according to according to Bloom's expectancy theory, based on your personal goal, you calculate the outcome, you calculate the performance, and you expect something. You estimate what kinds of expectancy you need. Okay, so that's a Bloom's expectancy theory, and that's a start of the cognitive-based approach in motivation. Okay, good. Then next one is John Locke. Okay, Locke give more attention to the goal itself. Goal. Okay, because you have a goal, you calculate and you adjust your behavior. Okay, so here there is a goal. According to your goal, specificity or the difficulties and the performance, learning goals, proximal goals, or whatever. Okay, so if you clearly define the goals, okay, if you have a certain specific goals, okay, you will perform. Okay, you will perform, and then that satisfaction with the performance and the reward will be calculated. Okay, in your brain, and that will alter, that will change your willingness to commit to the new challenge, or that's just abandon something. Okay, and that will be moderated by the goal of commitment, the goal importance, and self-efficacy, feedback, or task or competency, and then that is going to here. And absolutely, there is a mechanism for the choice, direction, effort, persistence, strategies, and that is individual. That's a personal difference. That's a personal factor. And that is a cognitive process. This is a cognitive process. That's changing, that's changing, that's going on, that's going on, that's going on. Then according to your goal, according to your goal setting, your behavior will be altering and changing continually. That is the Locke's goal setting theory. Performance goals play the key role in the motivation. If there is no goal, there is no motivation. No goal, no motivation, according to Locke. And the goals can mobilize the employee's effort, direct attention, and increase their persistence and affect the strategy they will use to accomplish a task. That is the reason the manager, leader, okay, so those kind of the authorities, we must set up a very clear goal. And absolutely, we change our goals according to the situation. So the Locke proposed managers, leaders, if you want to change the human behavior, if you want to change your employees' behavior, you must clearly define, propose, and then direct and lead people with goals. Then goals give us a chance to think. We can think, in order to achieve that goal, what should I do? Okay, I calculate, okay, so then I try to do that, and then I will get a feedback from the manager, from the organization, from the people, or from myself, okay, and then I will calculate, I will change, I will continually change my behavior, okay, according to the goal. That's a goal setting theory. So motivation mainly come from the goals, okay? Yeah, according to the law, when we see the goal, okay, for example, if you set the goal of the A, okay, you may almost immediately calculate what should you do, okay? However, if you set your goal as B plus, your behavior must be different. A, I must work 2 hours a day and I must commit, I must do something. Okay. However, if you set the goal B plus, probably I don't need to work hard. Maybe I just to work only 1 or 2 days and then the 4 hours will be enough. According to your goal. Okay, sure. That's a Locke's goal setting theory. That's a Locke's goal setting theory. And the third theory is modern. Okay, so that's proposed in 1977. And then Bandura, Albert Bandura was a professor at the University of Iowa. I know somebody that direct students of the Bandura, Albert Bandura. And actually, the Albert Bandura was an educational psychologist at the University of Iowa for more than 40 years at there. And he was curious about it, okay, simply. And he was curious about how people learn something. For example, baby. The babies learn many things. Okay. For example, the babies learn a language. How we human beings learn language. Do you know how people learn? When we are baby, okay? Probably we do not remember anything, okay? And however, when you observe your baby, when you not your baby, but however, when you observe a certain different babies and the babies murmuring, babies mimicking, and babies learn something languages, how those babies learn? According to that kinds of the difference something, okay, babies change their behavior, especially for the learning behavior. Albert Bandura observed and then studied, researched about how people learn to change their behavior for more than 40 years. And then, according to Bandura's experiment, observation, he proposed this social learning theory. People learn from others. People learn from others. For example, babies learn their language from their mom. when baby listen to their mom's speaking. We call that is a mother tongue, okay? Mom, father, grandfather, grandmother, or the relatives, or the sisters, or brothers, okay? Baby, observe. What they are talking about, and they are mimicking, they replicate. They replicate their listenings, their observations, and then they replicate, mimicking, and follow them. So then, according to Bandura, learning occurs from the observation from others. So that learning occurs socially. Social learning. Okay, that's a social learning. People learn from others. That's a social learning. And especially that kinds of the observation or listening from others can be understood as a social learning and a social cognition. So, according to Bandura's social learning theory, social cognitive theory, outcomes and the self-efficacy expectations affected the individual performance. And the human behavior, human learning behavior come from the environment factor and the first factor, and that is occurred socially. That is occurred socially. Okay, so learning by observation, we call that is a vicarious learning, is the main form of the learning from people. Okay, in order to make that kinds of the social learning happen, okay, so we should have a confidence. Okay, confidence. I can learn something. I can do it. I can mimic that. I can replicate it. Then the Bandura defined that as a self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the people's judgment of their capabilities to organize and execute courses of the action required to attain the designated types of the performance. Self-efficacy is very important. You should be able to believe in yourself in order to learn something, in order to change your behavior. That is changing your motivation. Okay, so that's Albert Bandura's social learning theory, social cognitive theory. Okay, and then okay, there is another equity theory, Adams equity theory, and then maybe that is that. Adams equity theory is okay, so we can compare somebody, we can compare, and then we can think, and then we can change our behavior. And then the last one is a non-cognitive theories, non-cognitive based theory, and that is a reinforcement theory. So a long story short, that's a traditional motivation theories, need-based theory, and the cognitive approaches and the non-cognitive approaches. We learned about the Maslow's hierarchy of need, and are the first ERG theory, Hertzberg two-factor theory, and the Bloom's expectancy theory, Love's goal-setting theory, Bandura's social cognitive theory, and Adams' equity theory. And the reinforcement theory is just a tit for tat. Okay, so that is a 10 different kind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different kind of the traditional motivation theory. Okay, so that's it today. That's it today. Sorry for the late. Okay. So then, look, that's a traditional understandings about the motivation theory, and then we will go to the more recent, modern, and then more contemporary approaches to the motivation later. Okay, so far that's it. That's it. And any question? Any question? I hope that we can have a face-to-face from next Monday. From next Monday, we will see. We'll see. But how about that? We hope, and I hope to have a face-to-face class again. Okay, and absolutely, we will have the face-to-face exam on October 26th. Okay, if everything is okay, we will have the face-to-face and the paper and pencil. The first exam on the October 26th. Okay, that's it. Any question? Everything okay? Everything okay?